Everybody, Original Longwood coming at y'all. I was up kind of early and I ran across this little video that's 4 minutes and 44 seconds, right? And they're talking about stripping motherfuckers of their citizenship, right? Now, the reason for why I am doing this video, and I'm going to play this little clip, I'm doing this for all you fucking African Americans and all you Hebrew Israelites and all you motherfuckers who are Moors, right? And don't misunderstand me. Moors are a real group of people, right? And I know this, right? I know it. I also know that, Moors ain't what they always used to be called and all this other stuff. I know that shit too, right? But you do have some motherfuckers here that are of the Sultan of Morocco. It's true. It's just that you got a lot of dumbass niggas that look like me, don't have no connection to Morocco whatsoever. And these motherfuckers are claiming to be Moors. Okay? This video is for you guys. What they're talking about in this little segment is they want to start decitizenshiping motherfuckers. Basically just taking your citizenship away and deporting you. Now, you've had people like myself that have been telling people this for the longest. I had a case in federal court for taxes, and I'm going to do a whole separate video on that because we got to get together. One of my goals is to get together, man, to make an effort like how the brother Jim Red Wolf and Rando and them is doing down there in Arizona, where they're working to build. I have a similar goal, something that's very similar to that, right? Except it don't really involve brick and mortar and cement and stuff like what these guys are doing. We need a group of people to get together to combat these laws, these bullshit laws and these bullshit statutes. Like how they down there breaking up topsoil and leveling shit off and all these other different things that they down there doing. We need a group of fucking people that study law, that put documents and paperwork together, and that put cases in courts. I've mentioned this in the past to people. One of the best ways to get these people to understand and know who you are is by telling them in every opportunity that you get. You get something in the mail, when you send it back, you let them know who you are. Like how I told y'all when I read my conditional acceptance, when the Illinois state tried to come after me for income tax, I put in my conditional acceptance who I was. And I even asked them to explain to me, how can you tax the original people of this land on their income? How can you do that? That was part of my conditional acceptance. And you wonder why these people ain't responded. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But I am going to do a video breaking down this federal case that I had at the Dirksen Federal Building in regards to taxes and what these motherfuckers did, right, in regards to it, right? Because y'all need this shit. You need this information. This is what I was talking to y'all about when I was doing these Zoom meetings. Come in with some fucking information. Do the work. I don't give a fuck about your job and all this other shit. Unless you sick and really fucked up, or unless you got a relative or something that's extremely sick or fucked up, I don't want to hear nothing. And I should tell people this, because we need this shit. But anyway, let's get back on point. Let me start playing some of this video, man, and then I'm going to give y'all my critique on what I think about what it is they're trying to do.
Excuse me, Stephen Miller recently tweeted that they want to start in 2025 a denaturalization process. Denaturalization is where you strip people of their U.S. citizenship. Now, the principal way that people...
Now, keep in mind, we didn't really become U.S. citizens until 1965. Don't give me that 13th and 14th Amendment shit. Don't give me that. That shit did not apply to us. We were not citizens when they came out with the 13th and the 14th Amendment. Okay? And let me explain to you one reason for why. When you are a United States citizen, you have the ability to vote. Right? If we were United States citizens when they wrote the 13th and 14th Amendment, why in the fuck did we have to fight for the Voters Registration Act of 1965? Why would we have to do that if it was already laws on the books that said that we had a right to vote because we were U.S. citizens? The 13th and the 14th Amendment was wrote way before 1965. Okay? You got the Civil Rights Act of 1964. You got the Voters' Rights Act or Voters Registration Act of 1965. Then you got the Indian Civil Rights Act of 1968. And that's how that shit went. Okay? So we didn't become citizens until 1965. But the reason for why I'm breaking this shit down for y'all is because they gonna try to deport a lot of you niggas talking about y'all Hebrew Israelites and shit. Oh, I'm an African American, and they gonna try to deport you niggas, man. And that's the whole point of this video. But anyway, let's go.
You know, second generation immigrants, in other words, people whose parents came here as immigrants, acquire citizenship is through what's called birthright citizenship, which is written into the 14th Amendment. And what it says basically is if you're born in the United States, you're a citizen of the United States. Now, you know, we can debate whether that's a wonderful thing or not. There's very few countries actually that have birthright citizenship. In most countries, you...
Did you hear what he just said? He said very few countries have birthright citizenship. You know the reason for why America is the only country that do? Is because of the Negro. This is the tactic that they have been using to fuck over our people for the longest. They had to go back and get more people. How many times have you heard them motherfuckers tell y'all these stories? We was warring with these people. The Dutch would come over here. We would beat their ass and send the Dutch packing. The Dutch would go back and get the French. And then the French and the Dutch would come back over here and we whoop them niggas' ass and send them packing. So the French and the Dutch go back and they go get the Italians. So now you got the French, the Dutch, and the Italians, and they come back over here, and we whoop these motherfuckers' ass and send them packing. They doing the same fucking shit to this day, with the help of our people. Okay, the coup d'etats and shit that we know about, and all these coups and shit that they might have threw to overthrow our people, that didn't happen until we made an agreement with them. I'm gonna say that one more time. All of these coup d'etats that they've pulled. All of these coups and shit that they done pulled to where they done overthrew certain sections of our government in certain areas of the country and all this other shit back in the 1800s and all that, that didn't happen until we came into agreement with them. Like how I told y'all, I said it before and I'm going to say it again. We handed this country to them. I don't give a fuck what no historian say. I don't give a fuck what you say. We gave this country to these pale-skinned people. We did that. They didn't take shit. They didn't conquer shit. We gave it to them. And we are the number one forefront runners of this Hebrew Israelite, this Pan-African shit, this African-American shit, this Moor shit. We are at the front of it. We're at the front of it. So who the fuck you really think they trying to deport? And then not only that, ain't it always fucking funny that the fucking white man is always the motherfucker talking about deporting somebody when his ass was imported? Oh my God. But anyway, let's go.
Either you're a citizen by lineage, you know, or you have to jump through a bunch of hoops, as it were. But here in the United States, if mom can get here and give birth to you, you are a citizen. So Stephen Miller,
what have Westside Kulik been telling y'all in his videos? What this nigga been saying for the longest? It's about the land and your genetics. That's why I don't even bother him. That's why I ain't fuck with Westside. When he make videos and he be making them weird ass, creepy ass posts and shit, I don't say nothing to the nigga. I don't say nothing to him. Because I know why he doing what he doing. I know why. And if you subscribe to my channel, you should know why too. It's about the land and the genetics. Did you hear what he just said? If moms can get her pregnant fat ass over here and give birth to you, then that baby is a citizen. It's just that fucking simple. And when one of them get one of our women pregnant or we get one of their women pregnant, you can't even deport them motherfuckers. You can't even deport them. But anyway, let's go.
Mentioned said he wants to do a denaturalization process. Now, that generally speaking, naturalized citizens are people who were not citizens when they came here, but applied for citizenship and received it. So there's kind of three categories here: people who were, you know, who's are what you might call a natural-born citizen. In other words, their parents were citizens, and therefore they are citizens, and they were born in the United States. Category number one. And nobody's talking about going after those folks. Category number two, people who applied for citizenship and got it, naturalized citizen. And category number three, birthright citizens. That is, you know, mom came to this country, dropped the baby is you are now a citizen, even though mom wasn't. And that's birthright citizenship.
And that's how these motherfuckers, foreigners, call themselves Americans. Did y'all know that? Now, we know that the brother then broke it down and then told you that ain't the real name of this landmass and all that other stuff, right? Shout out to you, Red. But for the time being, we're just going to go with American. We're just going to go with it. We don't want to get technical. We don't want to, Sunday morning, it's too early. I don't want to do that. We just going to go with American. This right here be the reason for why they call themselves American. We're Americans. We need to take our country back. It's like, bitch, you're a second generation immigrant. What are you talking about? A third generation immigrant at best. What are you talking about? You're an American. You need to take your country back. It's because of the shit that he talking about right here. And these people have gotten so fucking comfortable on this land that they literally think they can just kick people out. Literally. Second and third generation immigrants think that they have a right to kick people out. This is what happens when you let them in your government. This is what happens when you let them on your police force. You let them be teachers and shit in your schools and all this stuff. This is how that happens. I don't want to hear nothing, man. You're a racist. Fuck you. If me being down for my motherfucking people, right? And that includes getting rid of the shitty ass people that are within my people. If that shit make me a racist, then I'm a racist all day. Understand that.
So, as I mentioned, Stephen Miller wants to undo the people who have applied for citizenship. And by the way, for the last, half a decade, maybe longer, maybe more than a decade, more than 50% of people applying for and receiving naturalization, receiving U.S. citizenship, have not been white. The majority of these naturalized citizens are not white people. It's not white people from Europe who are clamoring to get into the United States. If anything, it's the other way around. But people of color from all over the world are trying to get into the United States.
So what are you talking about? Please don't tell me you're talking about melanated people down in the islands, like in the Caribbean or Jamaica or Haiti, or please don't tell me you're talking about these people. Please don't tell me you're talking about these melanated motherfuckers that are coming up from South America. I went to a Guyana fest one time. My cousin. My cousin is friends with a now retired Chicago police officer, right? Who is of Guyana descent. His older brother still got the accent and everything. I don't even think that nigga was born here. His brother. Do you know these motherfuckers look just like Jim Redwolf? They look just like Rando. They look just like the sister I Am Baby Girl Slaughter and shit. These people look just like them niggas. I'm talking about I went to a festival that they had. I forgot what the fuck it was, but it was pretty much like just their own people. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers look just like us. They look just like us. So it can't be these people you're talking about that's flooding into America, right? From Guyana? Really? Those motherfuckers are niggas. They Negroes. That's why I brought up the fact when I went to the Guyana Fest, I said they look just like us. They consider I Am Baby Girl Slaughter to be a fucking Negro. That's what they consider her to be. A Negro, a nigga, a black. That's what they consider her to be. These motherfucking women look just like her. They look just like Nichelle. Down in Texas and shit look just like her. Straight up. So I know y'all not talking about these people of color, are you? Really? I thought this was their land. Whether if it's what you call North America or South America, or whether if you call it Haiti or Dominican Republic. I just had to check another motherfucker on that shit the other day. Little Dominican girl that live across the hall from us, got some kids by a Mexican dude or whatever case may be. She look like a sister from the hood. And like I told the motherfucker, why is it that she Dominican but motherfuckers who look like you is black? But both of you niggas got the same phenotypes. Both of y'all look the same. It's like, I don't understand that. But anyway, let's get back on point. So it's the people of color that y'all are concerned about that are coming here, huh? Now, mind you, he ain't made no reference as to what people of color. He ain't say whether or not they come from the landmass of Africa. He didn't say nothing about all the melanated Hindus are coming here. He didn't make reference. He said it's just people of color that are coming here. So who are we talking about? Who are we talking about? Are we talking about the real Middle Eastern people? The real Saudi Arabians? You know, the real Saudi Arabians are darker than me. You do know that, right? The real ones. The real Iraqis and shit are darker than me. The real ones. The real Pakistanis and shit, these motherfuckers are darker than me. So who are you talking about, B? Who the fuck are these people of color that y'all talking about that's flooding into this motherfucking country? And why are you so concerned about them?
What Stephen Miller wants to reverse. But it always seemed that, birthright citizenship was, Okay. What's the big deal? People get here, they have a baby, their baby has U.S. citizenship. Well, this is what Judge James Ho of the 5th U.S. Circuit Court said in an interview on a podcast recently. He said, and I quote, "Birthright citizenship obviously doesn't apply in case of war or invasion. No one, to my knowledge, has ever argued that the children of invading aliens are entitled to birthright citizenship. And I can't imagine that what the legal argument for that would be. It's like..."
Now, here's my legal argument. Who in the fuck are the people that allowed them to come here? This Judge Ho motherfucker, whoever name he just said, ain't he a part of the same fucking system that's connected to the system that allowed these people to come here? Are y'all not understanding how this shit is really more so for the niggas that are here? You got to remember, our people established a landmass that you know of today as Sierra Leone back in 1790 and Liberia. If you really want to get gangster with it, in 1790, we established a landmass over in Africa that you know of today as Sierra Leone and Liberia. Look it up. I tell people all the time, Michael Jackson made a song called Liberian Girl. What the fuck you think he was talking about? Who do you think that woman looked like? These people were not Africans. They left here very similar. It's either you leave by choice or you leave by force from the research and the knowledge that I seen, the information that I seen when they established Sierra Leone and Liberia in 1790. Very similar. So who you think they really talking about deporting? They talking about deporting American Indians, AKA black people. That's who they really talking about. But anyway, let's go.
Debate over unlawful combatants after 9/11. Everybody agrees that birthright citizenship does not apply to the children of lawful combatants. And it's hard to see anyone arguing that.
So when you talk about lawful combatants, what are you talking about? I mean, you talking about this fake ass lawful combatant Taliban shit? Because everybody should be on to the 9/11 thing. It's like, come on, man. We know that shit was CGI, man. What you all really witnessed was a And because I've been to New York, I've been to the Twin Towers, before they fell down, back in 95, 96, right? Before they fell. That was a controlled demolition. And I'm telling you this just from standing in front of them two buildings, like how I've stood in front of the Sears Tower many times in my life. Like I stood in front of that dusty, decrepit, broken down ass Empire State Building. That was one of the raggediest motherfucking buildings in New York. I was very unimpressed. Like, wow, King Kong jumped off this shit or climbed up to this? It's like, wow, really, this fucking dusty ass building. But I'm telling you, the Twin Towers was a controlled demolition, man. Didn't no motherfucking plane bring that shit down. And they continue to try to use that despite the fact that everybody know that you ain't gonna have a plane crash into a fucking building and it just disappear. You don't find no parts of the plane, but you find a perfectly intact fucking U.S. passport talking about these are the fucking people that was flying the plane. And the passport looked brand new. It's still inside the plastic. The whole 9 yards is still shiny. The booklet is still shiny and everything. But you don't find no fuselage, no tail, no black box, nothing of the plane. You ain't find none of the people. The people disintegrated with the plane, allegedly, from 9/11. And they keep wanting to use this fucking shit as if people don't really know. Nah, you niggas did that. Y'all did it. Y'all did it. To this day, people still don't know about Tower 7. You have a conversation with people about 9/11 and you'd be like, well, why? What about Tower 7? Tower 7 was a considerable distance away from the Twin Towers. And that building came down exactly in the same fashion that the Twin Towers came down in. And motherfuckers be like, Tower 7? What are you talking about? There ain't no Tower 7. It's like, just shut up. Just go away. So who you think they really talking about in this segment? Niggas. You want to be an African American? You want to push paperwork through the courts saying you this, that, and the other. Hence why I'm going to do a video on the federal case I had in court. This is going to be very interesting, and everybody needs to see this shit. I just wanted to wait till the case was over before I started making videos and giving y'all the case number and all this other shit. But yeah, we're going to do a nice little video on this tax case that I took to federal court. Now, I was the plaintiff in the case, so keep that in mind. Ain't nothing wrong. Wasn't nobody coming after me, you know what I'm saying, or nothing like that. I was the plaintiff. But I want to get into that shit so you all can understand, so I can make that final connection as to, no, it's us that they trying to deport. And I'm going to do that in a separate video.
Unlawful combatants should be treated more favorably than lawful combatants. What he's talking about here is finding a sneaky little loophole to get the Supreme Court. It would start, in the Fifth Circuit with him, to get that. And he was one of these guys who was like, gung-ho with Trump's torture stuff. But this is a sneaky way to get, or not, I don't know if it's sneaky. I mean, he's coming around and saying it, but a way to get a case before the Supreme Court where the Supreme Court can say, yeah, the Constitution says if you're born here, you're a citizen, but we're not sure. And if your parents came here legally and you were born here, then sure, you're a citizen. But if your parents came here illegally, then you're part of an invading army. And therefore, even though you were born here, you're not entitled.
See, here's one of the reasons for why we get a lot of the disrespect that we get. We don't know who we are. And because we don't know who we are, we don't realize the power that we give up. When you're talking about U.S. citizenship and all this other stuff, you're talking about enumeration. Excuse me. Within the Constitution, they tell you that American Indians are not to be taxed or enumerated. Enumerated just means to be counted. You can't count how many of us. You can't survey how many of us live in one home, how many adults, how many children, etc. You cannot do that. That's what enumerated means. It just means counted. We are not to be counted and we're not to be taxed. U.S. citizenship is enumeration. That's the reason for why it's so important to get you to go along with some shit that you're not. And then when you come straight forward at them and let them know exactly who you are, they play you the way they did me with this tax case. Like when y'all see this shit, because it's going to be a screen share. When y'all see that shit, y'all going to be like, oh, hell no. But it's our fault that it's happening. Because we keep going along with some shit that we're not. Okay? So I want you guys to understand this. This is the reason for why not knowing who you are is so fucking important.
Citizenship under this logic that Judge James Ho of the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals is laying out. And I would bet you anything Clarence Thomas, Sam Alito, and probably at least three of the other right-wing justices would be totally down with this kind of logic. So we might be seeing a large aspect of birthright citizenship.
Here's the other thing that you have to understand about this. With a lot of the things that we are doing, they are already classifying us as enemy combatants. I'm talking about us. Us. They're already categorizing us as enemy combatants. Now, they would run into a problem with people like myself who's done a genealogy. This wouldn't work on every Negro. Not everyone. But they'll get enough, though, because there's still enough of these niggas that are dumb as fuck. It wouldn't work on every single one of us because you got people like myself who've done a genealogy. I know who the fuck I am. My people didn't just come to this country. They've been in this country. You can go back 10, 15 generations with my bloodline. Fuck you talking about? How you deport a nigga like that? My bloodline go back further than yours, bitch. Further than the nigga that's trying to deport a motherfucker. My bloodline go back further than yours, and you trying to deport me? Get your dumb ass the fuck out of here. So it's not going to work on every single one of us. But they'll get enough of us, man. They'll get enough of us. And it's just like how the brother Red has broke down in a couple of his videos. You got people over in that landmass they call today in certain sections of Africa. They know who they are. They know their great-great-grandparents is from Mississippi or Tennessee or whatever. They know. They know. Just like the brother that told you that we resided in all four corners of the earth and they went around hunting our people. We know that shit too. Look, this is just some more dangerous shit. And now mind you, if this shit actually goes through, if this judge that he named actually gets the ball rolling, who administration is this going to be under? Who watch is this going to be on? Donald Trump's. People, our lives are in danger, man. I tell people this all the time. I tell our people this all the time. Your life, my life, my children, your children, anybody you know, anybody I know, anybody we care about, life is in danger. Period. Period. And I've been trying to tell people that shit for the longest. I've been trying to tell my son that I'm not your fucking enemy. You got a bigger enemy than me, man. Trust me. Trust me. I don't want you dead and I don't want to see you hurt. I don't want to experiment on you. I don't want to abstract your melanin. I don't want to take your organs and eat them and all this other shit. I don't want to do none of that. You have a way bigger enemy than me. A way bigger enemy than me. As a matter of fact, the same enemy you have, your father been fighting long before you was born. And I've told my son that. Motherfuckers better wake up, man. Motherfuckers better wake up. This little video, I'm glad I found it because this shit applies to us. I don't know who the fuck this guy is, Tom Hartman or where the fuck this guy is. I don't know who he is, but thank you for this video, man. I'm glad this shit came up in our feed because it's just some more danger that our life is in.
Going away during the Trump administration. Stay tuned, as they say. I'll be back with your calls right after this.
And I'm going to end this video by saying Donald Trump is not your fucking friend. He's not coming to save y'all, man. He's not. Y'all better wake up to this shit, man. I'm telling you. Y'all better wake up. This is Original Lone Wolf signing out.